You know, guys, this topic is going to affect us whether we like it or not. And if you don't believe so, you need to start reading in between the lines, because I guarantee you it's going to hit us hard, it's going to hit us fast, and we're not going to know what to do afterwards. Welcome back to the channel. My name's Kevin, the Stoic Reseller. Today's topic is going to be an interesting one. If you're new here, I buy new and used clothing. I sell on eBay and Poshmark. I am a reseller. I am a part-time reseller, I should say. I have a full-time job, plus a family. I'm a very data-driven individual. I am very motivated to do what I do. And so if you are into conversations that other people are not having, data-driven approaches to reselling, anything like that, please hit that like, subscribe. I want to further the conversation down in the comment section. Let's jump right into it. So today's topic, guys, is retail theft. And, you know, you're going to read a lot of things about it. And I do think it's overly, talked about in the market, in the news. And it's hypersensualized. And I don't think it's actually that big of an issue in the majority of this country. But it is a large enough issue that legislation and stores are having to really, they're really having to alter the way they do business. And it's, you may not think that retail theft in general is really that important, right? And what does it have to do with reselling? Well, guys, I'm here to tell you, y'all need to start thinking and reading in between the lines. And why is it important? Because let's be real here, guys. What has anyone else worked in retail environment? So I worked for Target for, a long time, 7-8 years. And the thing that was always stressed to us, right, was talk to customers. If you see something suspicious, report it. Because they wanted to reduce shrink as much as possible. And reducing shrink, they say or claim, reduces the amount of cost associated with doing business. So they claim that they could give us higher raises, prices would stop going up, things like that. Basically an artificial, inflation sort of deal, right? Because you gotta adjust for it. How's it going? Yeah. So you gotta realize that, guys. So when you start to see these crazy stories, right, of snatch and grabs, San Francisco, LA, New York, they have all these crazy, $1,000 and under is just a, small little crime. It doesn't amount to nothing, right? You get stopped, you're released from jail, and you go home, right? And then you wake up tomorrow and do it again. But what a lot of people, and this is why it's detrimental to us as resellers, is you have to understand where the black market is lying on this, right? So the black market specifically is, where do you think these people, when they snatch and grab thousands of dollars worth of goods, and it's odd because it's goods that are just like everything, right? We're not just seeing food or laundry detergent. We're talking, and if you don't believe me, there's channels that have gone and investigated this. You go to San Francisco, there's whole, it opens up at night to this crazy weird, they call it the bazaar of something, and it's just all these luxury goods, right, at super discounted prices. You're talking like Louis Vuitton purses that retail for $1,500 to $2,000 are being sold for $500 right in front of the store, and nothing's happening to them because it's just the laws. California is a weird place. Actually a lot of these large cities, they have these progressive judges and district attorneys that don't prosecute these types of crime, even though the rules on the legislation is designed to punish this style of crime. They just don't do it. They don't want to punish nonviolent crime, but them not punishing nonviolent crime, right, it's causing a disruption to the fabric of our society, guys. I mean, you really have to think about that, right? Because you really have to put it into perspective that retail theft in general, it's not a victimless crime. You know, you'll see all these people say, oh, these greedy businesses, everything's insured. Well, it is insured, but it's only insured for the value of what they paid for, right? They don't insure it at the retail value because that's not an option. Otherwise, you'd see a lot of insurance fraud. And so, you know, there's a lot of really ridiculous thoughts, really not intelligent people having conversations about this. But the way this works for the resale market now is these people steal all this stuff, right? They either have this black market style gig where, you know, they do it on the streets, or what is actually happening, the majority of the cases, is they are selling online on Amazon, eBay, wherever the hell they can sell the items. And, you know, let's be honest with each other, guys. The retail stores and these brands, they know this. So if you're reading in between the lines, and you can see where I'm going, instead of attacking cities and other legal entities such as the 9th District, Southern New York or something like that, instead of going after them for these ridiculous laws, you're starting to see legislation when it comes to reselling in these online marketplaces. And what's frustrating about that is, you know, I am in, you know, used clothing predominantly, right? And so the option there is, or how is it going to affect me? You know, I don't sell drills, I don't sell detergent, I don't sell like needed items that are being stolen every day. I actually am I stay away from luxury goods in general because they are so highly faked, and I don't want to risk my account because I misidentified a stitch. So, but what this can do and will do moving forward, and if you guys don't believe me, look up some of these laws coming into play. I'll use my state for instance. It's Oregon. So some of the more predominant laws coming down are targeting not necessarily retail theft, guys. The brand security is high and to the point. I got an email in March of this year asking if I'd volunteer to represent eBay and give my conversation, my testimony of what will and can happen if brands are able to push through their legislative requests. You may ask, well, what is that, right? They already have Veros. Why can't they go through Veros? Well, actually, what they're trying to do is make the trademark system more stringent. Meaning, if I go to sell an item, are you guys done? So what they're trying to do with the trademark is basically make it now where I will, yes. So guys, what they're doing with the trademark laws is they're trying to eliminate the first buyer's agreement, or first buyer rights, or buyer's rights, or whatever you want to call them. There's a term for it and I just don't care about it. That essentially, if I own the item, I have the right to sell it, right? There's no brand that can tell me I cannot sell an item unless that was a specific request from the brand or a term in an agreement to buy a certain item. 99.99% of items you and I buy do not fall in line with that, right? So, what these brands, and I'm going to use Patagonia because they are actually on this bill, or what they're trying to get to pass in the Oregon Senate, is to basically eliminate the ability for people to use their brand on e-commerce sites without their express permission. What that means is I can no longer say I have a Patagonia Better sweater. I now have to use famous brand Better sweater, and I might not even be able to use the term Better sweater. And you may ask, why can't I do that? Well, when these brands make names for their products, they trademark them. And I told eBay, no, I don't really want to represent them or me. I don't have the time, nor do I think my testimony and whatever I come up with will matter. I'm not, didn't go to school for law, I didn't get trained, and I'm not going to have some eBay lawyer tell me what to say and not to say when they can't even get their own shit straight, right? So what I think we all need to realize is that there is testimony, or there's going to be legislation, maybe in the short term, long term, but guys, the resale environment is going to change in the next 1 to 3 years, right? And that is going to include, and won't be limited to specifically just the economy. I think a lot of people get that skewed. I think they forget that the government has a lot of power to sway the ebbs and flows of what happens in day-to-day commerce. So, guys, just keep that in the forefront of your mind, please, and just remember that that these brands and really these e-commerce sites, they don't have us in mind, right? They are not our friends, nor will they ever be, because if they were our friends, eBay would be not doing what they're currently doing, right? If eBay was our friends, their advertising budget would be extensive. Their, buyer retention would be through the roof. They would be doing everything in their power to do so. But do you think Amazon's really for the sellers there? I don't think so. I think you'd be mistaken, right? If you think Amazon is doing everything in their power to protect seller rights, I think you're a fool. And in fact, all they're doing is the same thing eBay's been doing, right? And actually, eBay got their idea from Amazon. Tax us to death, basically. So, to the point where only the good survive. And, maybe that's good, maybe that's bad. I have no idea. But going back on to this, guys, we all need to be aware of this, okay? And this builds on to the last conversation I had on this walk around with the economy. And I don't want this to be about economy. I want this to be about reseller topics, things that people aren't really discussing. And, it's kind of crazy to me to think about this, in the realm of retail theft can negatively impact what you and I do on a day-to-day basis, just trying to get ahead in life, right? And, I'm going to give you some statistics here in terms of where it is. Is retail theft actually a thing? And I think you guys need to realize your perception of retail theft, my perception of retail theft, and how it's actually going may not actually be a precise data point. So according to the most current statistics, which I believe is stated through 2023, retail theft is actually going down. But the problem with that is it's represented differently, right? So now they have grand theft or grand larceny and non-violent theft. So it's split into two. The problem we're having, though, is like major cities like New York and LA and even San Francisco are seeing huge, massive spikes of retail theft. And this retail theft is actually causing laws, prices across the board. And remember, guys, anytime prices are increased, it's a tax against the poor. Or it's actually just really a tax against anybody, but it negatively impacts the poor. But these larger cities really control the legislation across the country. And if you don't believe me, just look at what New York's been doing. Look at what LA's been doing. They're writing laws protecting these criminals because they don't want to prosecute non-violent people. But in these cities alone, I think New York saw like a 56% increase in retail theft. It's gotten to the point where they literally, major stores, we're talking Macy's, luxury stores like Louis Vuitton and Gucci, Target, Walmart's, they're leaving the city. They're saying, well, you know what, if you're not going to prosecute these assholes for coming in and stealing thousands of dollars worth of inventory under the guise that, oh, it's just a one-time thing, it's not that prevalent, these are one-off situations, they're just ignoring the facts. Where I live, it's not a problem. Southern Oregon, I rarely encounter thieves of any kind. What I see, though, is the opposite. I see that it's the brands now. The brands are reacting like I was discussing earlier. So it's not necessarily what you and I are going to have to face. You and I are going to have to face all the laws coming down from the larger cities, right? Because if you live in a smaller city, we all know the larger cities make the laws. So to kind of close this up, guys, I just really want everyone to be aware that the reselling scene, sort of say, is going to be drastically different in the next 1 to 3 years. I mean, it's already been different in the last, year or so, just with the eBay mess ups and everything like that. But, it's kind of crazy when you think about it, right? We could all speculate as to where it may go, where it may be. It's kind of sad. They're taking the rights away from us to protect criminals. But yeah, guys, tell me what you think down below. Share, did you learn anything? Did you figure anything out? Is this news to you? Or am I completely wrong? Let me know down in the comments section. Remember, if you like this content, like, subscribe, comment below, share my videos, and please don't forget to rule the day.